Getting set, it wasn't such a happy race for the first one. He finished in 17th position and he's got a lot of work to do in the second. Lowndes and Scaife from the front row, Brighton Bargwanna 3 and 4.
Glenn Seaton and Garth Tander 5 and 6. John Bowe and Neil Crompton out of 8.
Greg Murphy, Larry Perkins 9 and 10. The VT boys, Russell Ingall and Mark Larkham 11 and 12.
Ingall had a front brake line failure in that race, so put him off at the end of the straight. Mark Poole and Steve Ellery, Tony Longhurst out of 15.
Nick Johnson, Darren Pate, they share that row. Smurden and Ashby.
Romano, Rose, Darcy Russell and Ray Hislop, they keep on coming.
A couple of casualties in the first race, you'll notice some different names. Courtney Tratt, Steve Johnson won't make this one as we get ready for a start. Race 2, the back of the grid is clear, the front of the grid is clear. We are set. Will Lowndes get another rocket-like start? Wait and see. Odds on favourite, he gets it. Scaife has stalled it. Scaife has stalled on the line, now he gets going again. So, he got the jump, a reasonable jump, but then stalled. It's Craig Lowndes. Well, is it Craig Lowndes? No, it's not. It is Jason Bargwanna into the first corner from one of the Ford credit cars on the
Oh, look at this! Oh, it's Steve Ellery straight on there.
Well, you can see him getting all sorts of drama there in the Young Lions. Commodore, he managed to straight line it down the end of the straight. Oh boy, but that was a real mix-up for the Mobil 1. Holden Commodores having all sorts of dramas off the line. Mark Scaife was left there and Lowndes has been shuffled right back in the pack. So we've got the Valvoline Cummins Commodore of Jason Bargwanna leading them down the back straight for the first time.
Well, he must have got a rocket-like start as well because Lowndes got away to a good one, but it's Bargwanna. Then we go back to Glenn Seaton. We pick up Lowndes from Jason Bright. Then we go back to Russell Ingall. He's done extremely well to come through the field from where he started also. Onto the main straight now. It is Jason Bargwanna. He is having the V8 race of his career if he can stay where he is. Now let's have a look at the start.
Oh,
on your right, Scaife stalls it.
Stalled without any shot. He's so lucky he didn't get collected from the rear. Look at that.
There's Bargwanna. Just got a quick shot of him slipping up the side as well. So he did get a brilliant start.
Scaife. I mean, he's kicking himself.
Well, Bargwanna really saw his opportunity. Crompton apparently has been pinged for a jump start.
They were all a bit anxious.
Yeah, well, you never know. Just thought those two Mobil 1 Commodores going to leap away from the line, but a real surprise. Now look at this tangle on the outside. There's the Young Lions Commodore. Didn't quite see it, but Ellery just getting bumped out wide over the white line. Here's our race leader, Jason Bargwanna, with Glenn Seaton in second position. This is an amazing start for the youngster.
I've got to say this, Lee, he's far too modest to say this, but before the start of this race, he was saying, watch Bargwanna, he's going to be up there, watch Bargwanna. So you're right, Lee.
That's Baz. It's early days yet, though. Only lap 2 of 21. The young guy from Melbourne, the 26-year-old, leads the way. He has never led a V8 supercar race, and he is leading the championship points leader at the moment, Craig Lowndes. Then back to Bargwanna's old sparring partner, Jason Bright, who's worked his way up into that third spot. So the young guns are in form.
Lights ablaze, leading a high-speed train under brakes down to turn 1, 150 metres out. They really stand on the anchors. Tremendously hard on brakes this circuit. High-speed straights with very slow corners at the end, and they're all averaging about 80 kilometres an hour, the corner speed. So it's very, very tough on the brakes. But Jason Bargwanna now opening a little gap. Lowndes has got past Bright. He's in pursuit of the Valvoline Cummins driver. Bargwanna's first flying lap of 57.39. Keep in mind the early laps of Heat 1 were in the 56-second bracket. So interesting to watch those times as Lowndes heads out after Jason Bargwanna.
Scaife is up to 16th now, which is not too bad.
I can tell you that the Gary Rogers team, and Gary Rogers himself, who is the team owner of Bargwanna's team, were very frustrated with Jason's brilliant drives in races 2 and 3, but he couldn't put it together in the opening race of the day. He did today, and look at the difference that it's made. He is now leading this race, and there is no reason why this car can't win, because it's an XHRT car. It's Greg Murphy's car from last year. So he's got an HRT car right behind him in Craig Lowndes, and he's starting to bridge the gap. Here comes Craig Lowndes.
Yeah, a quick one that time. He's just taken a 1/10 of a second out of Bargwanna's lap. Bargwanna a 57.07, Lowndes a 57 neat. And look at the stack behind them. Bright, Seaton having a good competitive run. Ingall back in 5th. He's moved up from 11th position. That's a stunning start from Ingall, up in the top 5. Bowe in 6th, Murphy in 7th, in the VT Commodore. Tander, Larkham and Longhurst rounds out the top 10.
That's not so bad for Craig to get a bad start. Well, not a bad start exactly, because at least it puts some interest into the race for him, because when you start off and you've got a good lead, it gets very, very boring. But now at least he's having to think about it.
Ingall all over the back of Glenn Seaton as well. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. Ingall sitting in 5th position. He was very disappointed with the result in the first race. It wasn't his fault though, a front brake line failure. He is now hassling Glenn Seaton, but Seato's got plenty of speed down the main straight.
Oh, GJ!
Oh, he's got a fire happening under there too. There's one right under the back of the car. Oh, he's had a big tangle there somewhere, front damage, and he's got a fire underneath. Hope the marshals get onto that before it turns into a major barbecue. Dick getting out. There's the marshals on the scene. I don't know what happened there, but he's really been caught up in a tangle. But Dick's okay.
Well, JB had a disastrous day at Barbagallo, John Bow in Perth. Now it's Dick's turn, I guess. It hasn't been a happy weekend for the Queenslander. We get back to the action now. You can see it in the background. The leader's coming through. Lowndes is right on him. Here's a replay. Mark Scaife working his way through the field.
Whoa!
This is the incident.
Mark Poole getting all tangled up there. There's one. Oh, it's Johnson.
Whoa.
Look at that. Now, Mark Poole, did he manage to keep it off the concrete? No, he's just given it a bit of a whack. Johnson's car really igniting there. Not sure what caught on fire, but he looks like he's okay.
Well, there's Poole across the side of the track. When we were looking at Dick just a moment ago, saw the leaders come through, and Craig Lowndes was right on Bargwanna's hammer, and here he is through the first corner. So Lowndes has been able to leave Bright a couple of car distances behind, car lengths behind. Now he is right on Jason Bargwanna.
Well, this will be a big test for the former young Lion star. Look at Lowndes using all the track and then some. 2 wheels up over the curbs on maximum attack as he tries to get the lead back in Heat 2. And this will really test the youngster in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore. This will be a real coming of age if he can hold Lowndes out here.
Well, both graduates. The top 3 guys are all graduates from open wheeler racing from the Formula 4 days. 2 former Formula 4 champions behind him in Lowndes and Bright. Jason Bargwanna himself never won the championship. He was runner-up in the Australian Formula 4 Championship and also runner-up last year in the Australian Formula Holden Championship. And he's got a big battle on his hands at the moment with the #1 man in V8 Supercars this year.
And as you saw on that Bridgestone driver profile, he is a Shell Series rookie this year. Made a debut with the Young Lions team last year, had an unfortunate incident at Bathurst that really blotted his copybook, and he's been so determined to get back and prove his mettle. Well, he's doing it here. He's got the 1996 Shell Australian Touring Car Champion breathing right down his neck. Jason Bright locked in there too. Tremendous battle as Jason Bargwanna leads them a merry dance.
Down across, this is the back part of the circuit, through the flip-flop. It's a very fast section of the circuit. Calder with the 2 big strips front and back and the corners at either end. They really get up to some big speeds, and Lowndes is now starting to work him over, but credit to Bargwanna because he's accepting and handling the pressure. Not too bad at all at the moment. Plenty of time left to run. We're not even at halfway. Bargwanna, will he be able to hang on?
Well, Gary Rogers, the team manager of the Valvoline Cummins team, he will have just about chewed up his quota of fingernails by now, and he's got a long, long way to go. See if Bargwanna can hold him out. There's the battle. Seaton in 4th. Ingle locked back there in 5th. Bow in 6th. And it's Larkham. Good effort up to 7th. Tander, Longhurst in 9th. And Scaife on a fight back. He's back in 10th.
Well, that's a tremendous effort by Mark Scaife. And also Tony Longhurst. They've just changed on that lap around because Scaife is now up into 9th. So he is on a real charge. Longhurst from 15th up into 10th. A great effort by the Queenslander as well.
Look at John Bow attack those curbs. It's the shortest way through the corner. He's really using those curbs to maximum advantage. 2 wheels up in the air. Trying to chop the circuit down to the shortest distance as possible. Try and close the gap on the back of Ingle's car. This is a good run from Ingle. He had a front brake line failure in that first heat. He started getting a pretty spongy pedal about 5 or 6 laps from the end of the race. Then he just lost them completely. That's why he went down the escape road. Ended up in 11th, and that really hurt his championship chase.
Out of the corner they come, Russell Ingle. He won the round here back in 1996. That was his debut year in V8 Supercars. Wayne Gardner won the round last year. Who is going to win it today? Well, Lowndes is looking in good form at the moment. Bargwanna leads away. Here's Ingle trying to make a move on Glenn Seaton, but it doesn't happen there.
Tremendous battle this, as it is at the front too. Positions remaining pretty static, but there's plenty of pressure. Look at them broken up into 2 groups of 3. Bargwanna, Lowndes and Bright battling for the lead. There's Seaton, Ingle and Bow. Oh, look how close Ingle gets over the rise. Applying maximum pressure to the Ford Credit driver.
If you look at the top 3 now, it's really closed up, and Jason Bright certainly isn't falling off the back of Lowndes. They're all lapping within nothing of one another, so it's a pretty good battle.
Well, Lowndes escaped just a little bit from Bright earlier on, but as you said, Baz, Bright has hung in there and in fact perhaps clawed his way back just a little. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. And in behind Russell Ingle, you see John Bow. He's in 6th position, so a nice group of 3 here duking it out. Scaife still in 9th, trying to work away at Garth Tander in 8th position at the moment.
Bargwanna, the fastest man on the circuit last time around, just by a few hundredths of a second. But Jason Bright looking very quick at the moment too, but this gap has opened up 3.6 seconds, the gap between Jason Bright in 3rd and this battle between Seaton, Ingle and Bow for 4th, 5th and 6th. Just see them just going out of shot there, just up the road. So there's 2 separate battles, just as intense And Ingles is so desperate for every point he can claw back.
He's looking extremely frustrated at the moment, Russell. And when it gets like that, it always ends in
Well,
long way around the outside.
Can't afford to do anything too crazy,
exactly.
because after that first race, Lowndes now has a 30-point lead in the championship if you talk the overall points, as Engel tries to get up the inside. Can't do it there. Now right on Seaton, as he has been for the last 3 or 4 laps, trying to work away past. He's going to have to watch out for John Bowe as well in the background, because he is edging closer all the time. There's Mark Larkham quite a way back. It looked like Mark Scaife has got through on Garth Tander, but it's the Valvoline Cummins Commodore of Jason Bargwanna who sets the pace at the moment from Lowndes and Bright. We'll be back on your home of motorsport right after this. The 26-year-old Jason Bargwanna leads the way from the birthday boy, Craig Lowndes, as he gets it out sideways. Then we go back to another young guy, 25-year-old Jason Bright, who sits in 3rd spot. So it's the young guys dominating the second race here at Calder Park. And in fact, Bargwanna has increased his margin by some 0.4 of a second over Craig Lowndes.
Well, that just shows the Gary Rogers Motorsport Commodore is working pretty well. It's getting the power down, particularly through that critical corner onto the main straight, because that determines your terminal speed at the end. The car driving out of that corner very well. Now they have Steve Kramer, the Australian agent for Olin Shock Absorbers. He's been doing a bit of engineering on Jason Bargwanna's car, and Jason said it's been making an enormous amount of improvements, just being able to discuss setup with him, making firm, precise decisions on which way they want to go, and it's certainly paying off, because that car is working a treat at Calder today.
Well, as well as where there's a lot of focus on Holden Racing Team and the Shell Racing Team, they've got some good boys in the Gary Rogers team. One of their mechanics, Chris Horvath, was in fact spannering for the Yerst Porsche team at the Le Mans 24-hour last weekend. So they've got some good personnel on board as we watch Glenn Seaton hard at work on lap 12 of 21. And he's done a tremendous job to hold Russell Ingall at bay so far. Still in 4th, Ingall in 5th, Bowe in 6th. Larkham is going great in the Mitre 10 Falcon in 7th, and Scaife has worked his way up into 8th, Tander 9th, and Perkins in the new VT in the top 10.
So Ingall now with his brake problem fixed, a new brake line on that front. You can't get closer than that, Russell. Really attacking under brakes at the end of the main straight. A little bit of lap traffic there. Robert Smith, one of the rookie privateers, just giving them racing room as this battle comes through. So it's Bargwanna, Lowndes, Bright, Seaton, Ingall, Bowe, Larkham, Scaife up to 8th now, Tander in 9th, and Longhurst in 10th.
The big climax at the end of the year, the Australia 1000 Classic at Bathurst. That's where you can get your tickets from Ticketmaster 136122. Give them a call. And before that is the Gold Coast Indy. We're looking forward to going up to Queensland. Different organisation from Ticketek. There's the number as we watch Ingall forcing the issue on the inside and hanging it out too. Plenty of wheel spin coming out of that corner, working Seaton big time.
A little bit of a touch there. You see the near side front wing of Russell's car looks a bit squashed there. To see it.
This really is maximum pressure driving, isn't it? Look at the gap. Bargwanna and Lowndes, they've opened up about 2 seconds on Jason Bright, who's running a bit more of a lonely race in 3rd. And there's 5 seconds now back to this battle between Seaton, Ingall and Bowe. They're slowing each other up. Larkham sitting back there in 7th position.
Well, he's trying his hardest. Russell Ingall, he hasn't necessarily done anything wrong. He's just doing the best with what he's got here at the moment, but Craig Lowndes is doing better. We've got to keep a close eye on that in terms of the championship with only 2 rounds left. Hidden Valley is the next round. Oh! He and Hislop there in a bit of with some problems on the infield. Can't quite see who else was involved. There was another car though.
Look at Ingall. He just mucked up his exit there. There is an opportunity for the really gung-ho drivers to sneak down the inside under the Goodyear bridge there and muscle your way, push your competitor to the outside of the track.
We watch the rest of the field. They're coming up on some of the back markers, some of the privateers. There's Bright. So Bright, that gap between Lowndes and Bright has increased. Here we go. They're coming through some of the lap traffic. Darcy Russell, he'll know what to do. Get right out of the way and let them through. They do a good job, these guys. This is Glenn Seaton's triplemetry on board the Ford Credit Falcon.
Great sound. You can see Trevor Ashby there in the Lansvale Smash Repairs car trying to give them a bit of racing room. He was right out on the white line. This is an intense battle, and all three of them now have switched their headlights on. And the idea being there to warn the slower privateer cars, or the cars they're lapping, that they're on the way and give them maximum chance to be seen in their rear-view mirrors. You can see how intense this battle's getting. Bargwanna still leading this one. Lowndes right up behind him. Bright dropping back now, 2.5 seconds behind that leading Commodore battle. Then we've got this one for 4th, 5th and 6th. It's a beauty. It's been going on all race. Scaife now has taken Larkham. He's up to 7th, and he'll be just behind this battle here.
Paul Romano in the top 10 also in that 10th position. But Bargwanna and Lowndes, they're duking it out while these guys are as well, Ingle and Seaton. Lowndes has in fact decreased the gap between himself and Jason Bargwanna at the front of the pack as Ingle goes up the inside. Russell Ingle has got the move on Glenn Seaton. So persistence has paid off, and John Bowes there as well.
Well, he's had a terrible run out of that corner. Bowes trying to take advantage. It's going to be a drag race between the Shell Ford and the Ford Credit Machine, side by side as they build up to 250 kilometres an hour. It's going to be pretty exciting under brakes as they come down toward turn 1. Ingle now moves up a position. There's great battle between the Fords, but Seaton moves over to cover his territory.
It did look as if where Glenn ran into the corner back up there where Russell got up the inside. I think Glenn run just a little bit wide and Russell got through and he just lost all his corner speed, and then therefore the run up the straight.
So that moves Ingle up to 4th position now. Lowndes in 2nd, desperate to close his points gap, goes to the outside of Rod Nash in the privateer Commodore. So John Bowe now looking for a way past the Ford Credit Falcon. Far more competitive run from Glenn Seaton than we've seen in the last few races.
Tell you something interesting else to look at, guys, on some of those wide shots is those storm clouds are really brewing. The Weather Bureau has forecast the thunderstorm for this afternoon, so we could have a very interesting race 3 as John Bowe now starts to try and do what Russell Ingle did with just a handful of laps left, lap 18 of 21.
Yeah, look who's behind Scaife there. Look who's behind this lot. Scaife's come right up from the
There
back.
he is, yeah, he's going like a train. He'll be so pumped up after blowing that start. He'll be kicking himself and he'll just be so aggressive here, and you can see the amount of time. Fastest car on the track at the moment. He's just done a 57.12. Our race leader Bargwanna is a 57.42.
Oh, look at JB.
He really is attacking, isn't he?
Well, I tell you what, while we stay with this action, Bargwanna, we won't speak too early, but he should have this one in the bag because he's doubled his gap. His lead gap out to over 1 second now. As always, around about half a second. So Bargwanna is now 1 and a bit seconds in front of Craig Lowndes.
He's watching that gap, and it just like a bit of elastic. Just like goes from half a second out to 1 second. As these guys hit lap traffic, sometimes Lowndes gets held up a little bit. 57.44 for Bargwanna, and Lowndes 0.2 of a second faster that time around. But this battle back in the pack continues between Bright, Ingle, Seaton, Bowe, Scaife, Larkham back there, Tander, Romano moving up to the top 10 as well.
When you think about this is a colossal effort from Mark Scaife. He was, well, virtually at the back of the pack after stalling it on the grid, and he has worked his way all the way through 32 cars, mind you, in this field. He is now into 6th position in the Mobil 1 HRT Commodore. He's got past John Bowe, now fighting with his good mate Glenn Seaton.
There he is, our race leader, Jason Bargwanna.
Oh, he's not so far in front of Craig Lowndes.
Well, he is feeling maximum pressure here. This really is pressure driving. He's got the 1996 Shell Australian Touring Car Champion and the championship leader this year.
The thing is, Mark, if he can sort of come through this unscathed and beat Craig Lowndes, maybe he'll get that sort of monkey off his back from Bathurst, you know, because nobody's ever forgotten that. You really feel sorry for him.
Well, there's never been any doubting his speed, and there's certainly his commitment. And if he can pull this race win together, it'll be a tremendous boost for him. Even if he doesn't win, it's still a great drive by the youngster. He's got a lot of years ahead of him, and he really has proved his mettle here.
A few significant people have had their first wins here at Calder too. Glenn Seaton back in 1987, I think it was, had his first race win here, and so too did Russell Ingle in 1996. So Bargwanna could get his debut V8 supercar race win under his belt in just a lap and a half's time if he can hold off the current points leader Craig Lowndes as he comes right up on him now. So that makes you think whether Lowndes was maybe playing with Bargs just a little bit.
Well,
he had it under control the whole way perhaps. We'll have to wait and see.
I don't think so. I think he's just he's pushing Jason to try and make Jason make a mistake. You know, I'm sure at the end of the straight, Jason's going to be at the inside and cover his line and that. And
I've got to say, I'm really impressed with the exit speed of that Valvoline car out of that critical corner onto the main straight. He's really matching the factory car there. He's got plenty of horsepower in a straight line. Chevy's put together by Mike Axel. And they're doing the job.
It'll be an anxious last lap for Jason Bargwanna as Lowndes gets it sideways. Has a look on the inside through the S's. He's working hard and hits him. There's Bargwanna a couple of times. Down over the hill they go through the flip-flop, the fastest change in direction on this track. This is the run home. It's an anxious moment for the 26-year-old Bargwanna. Can he hang on? Just a little bit more. He's got to come around this series of corners.
Look at the racecraft he's applying. Lowndes gets a slap of opposite lock on there as he catches it. One more chance here as they come under the Goodyear Bridge. He can't do it.
He won't do it.
If Bargwanna gets a clean run out of here, he may have one more crack at him across the start finish line.
Jason's got it.
Well done, Jason Bargwanna. The Valvoline Cummins Commodore comes across the line for the win, and Jason Bargwanna wins his first ever V8 race. The 26-year-old from Melbourne, well done.
Well, you should have put money on that, Dev. Look at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, that's a man who loves to win a motor race. Look
Don't
at
want to give me the lotto numbers, do you, Lee?
Look at that. I am the greatest.
They call him Copacabana, Jason Bargwanna. He'll be doing a bit of partying now.
And look at that. He is absolutely ecstatic. Lowndes comes up, sportsmanlike, gives him the wave.
That was really, really a good drive, wasn't it?
Yeah, that is fantastic. He really made his mark on this meeting. He's been threatening to do it for a long time. Very, very quick at Symmons Plain. Scintillating form there, got onto the podium. And his second championship run. And there he is, he's got his first race win. Well done, Jason Bargwanna.
Well, his team boss, Gary Rogers, isn't feeling the best this weekend. He got a big bit of silicon in his eye from the side of the track yesterday, flicked up in his eye. But that will certainly make him smile, that's for sure.
And he also doesn't have any fingernails left either, so...
Jason Bargwanna, the young guy from Melbourne. He actually works for Gary Rogers at the car dealerships, has picked up his very first win ahead of Craig Lowndes and Jason Bright, who is heading for a very consistent day. That's two good results from two races. Ingle was the next one to come on through. We'll return on your home of motorsport right after this.